Hi, I'm Paul from the Studio Rats. In these videos, I'm comparing a Boss Katana to some high-end valve amps. Now what I'm doing is I'm replacing all of the guitar parts that I recorded with these high-end valve amps with different sounds on the Boss Katana. So I've already done one video. If you haven't seen that, go back and have a quick look at that so far just to see where we've got to. But what I'm going to do now is just to move on to the fourth guitar part. Okay, first of all, let's play the track to show what we're going to be competing against. If you like what we do, it would really help us if you liked and subscribed, and also click on the little bell button which will inform you of any future videos that come out from the Studio Rats. So let's switch over to the track and let's have a quick listen to see what the original guitar sounded like. So again, it's another gnarly sort of sound. Now what this guitar's doing that's different to the other guitars is this guitar's tuned to drop D. So all I've done is to drop my low E string down to a D. So I'm still working from the previous video and the previous sound that we've got on that video. So let's load that sound up. And all I'm going to do for this is we're still going to keep it on the brown sound, but I'm going to change it to the variation. As what I want to do is to get a different sort of sound. I want to try and get as many different guitar sounds in this track as possible, just so they don't all compete with each other. So there's the sound that we've got so far. Now what I'm going to do with this as well is to add some delay, and I'm going to put it on the pan setting of the delay, and let's turn up the effects level just so we can hear it just a moment. And what I'm going to do is just to bring this down. So I want to slap delay. So I need that between 80 and 130 milliseconds. So let's try 125. Now what that's doing, that's giving us a nice sort of wide guitar sound. And this guitar is going to be panned more or less around the middle. Okay, so let's use that. And let's mute the old guitar part. And let's record the new one. Here we go. Okay, let's move on to the fifth guitar part now. Now these parts are going to be like the high parts, the ear candy parts that are going to take the guitar away from just like sounding like a block of power chords, and it's going to give it a bit of harmony, and it's going to just make the guitar sound a little bit nicer. So let's have a quick listen to the guitar that we've got so far. Actually, let's hear that in the track. Okay, so it's quite a high gain sound, so let's just switch that on and let's go over to the Katana app. Okay, so if you remember from the last sound, we used a slap delay. Now what I'm going to do to that initially is to take up the delay just so it's a bit wider. Now that's fine. Let's take it off variation 1. Now I think that'll work, but let's just give it a little bit more treble and just a touch more presence. Actually, let's bring the presence back just a little bit. Okay, let's record that. Here we go. Okay, let's move on to the last guitar part, but let's have a quick listen to the original guitar part. And let's hear that in the track. Okay, so the guitar that I'm going to be using for this is a Gretsch, and the amplifier that I used for the original recording was a divided by 13 RSA 23. So it's a little bit voxy sounding, it's a little bit high watt sort of sound as well. So let's switch over to the Katana app and let's switch on the guitar here. Okay, so the sound that was used didn't have a hell of a lot of gain on it. So let's bring it back to, let's try the crunch setting first of all. Let's turn the gain up a bit. Okay, I'm going to bring up the presence a bit. And let's try the vintage setting on this. Now that's working for me. Now what I'm going to do with the delay is I'm going to switch it onto an analog delay. Now with the analog delays, what happens is as the delays repeat, they tend to get duller. So you can hear the top dropping off the delays as they repeat. Okay, let's turn up the effects level just a little bit. Okay, let's mute the old guitar. Okay, so let's record that part. And now let's hear all the guitars in the mix. And now what I'm going to do is to mute all of the new guitar parts that we recorded with the Katana, and let's switch in the old valve guitar parts so we can hear the difference. Now, to my ears, I like both actually, and both do sound very different. Now, it could have been the EQs that I was using for the Katana, but the Katana definitely sounds brighter, and the original guitar parts, even though they're not mixed yet, still sound a little bit warmer. And now, I guess that's the inherent thing with valves. So, but is a Katana which costs, I don't know, £320 over a bunch of amplifiers that cost more or less £10,000. Is there a massive difference? No, there's not, is there? Now, if you haven't liked and subscribed already, we'd really appreciate it if you liked and subscribed, and also click on that little bell button down there and you'll be informed of any future videos that come out from the Studio Rats. So I'm Paul from the Studio Rats. I hope you guys got something out of that, and I'll see you next time. Cheers.